We're here at Corinth High School. We've got the invocation to be given by Robert Woodard from Columbus High School. Robert Woodard II gave us the invocation. His dad played at Mississippi State. And now your national anthem by Jordana, a junior right here at Corinth High School. Once again, that was Jordana Jordan, a junior at Corinth High School. She was also Miss Teen Alcorn County. She's rocking her crown as well, and she did a great job. Robert Woodard II gave the invocation. He is from Columbus High School and is a very talented basketball player in his own right. And so with that, the stage is set for another exciting game here. We've got the boys from Memphis, Tennessee, out of Southwind High School. It's the Jaguars. They will be wearing white jerseys with purple numbers and purple trim. They're going to take on a team we saw yesterday from Camden, Mississippi. The Falcons come in here, led by Quindary Weatherspoon, a 6'5" swingman who is very, very talented, to say the least. He has signed with Mississippi State. He's a leaper, scorer. He can do a lot of great things. I'm joined by Brandon Clay here, who lives for this kind of Brandon Clay, scouting.com. You should check it out to see all the cool things he's involved with, to over 200 college clients in his resume. Brandon, what do you like about Quindary Weatherspoon and the things he's able to do?
Well, you know what? He complimented Malika Newman, who we'll see in the nightcap, very well for a Jackson Tiger club team coached by Larry Stamps this summer. Shoot the gap on offense, get into the teeth of the defense, a lot like what we just saw from Brandon Sampson from Madison Prep. Even showed that he can knock down the occasional spot three, so keep an eye on that as well. Big time game. And it's why he's going to Mississippi State.
Southwind Jaguars are led by Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick. So we had a Mississippi State signee on Velma Jackson's team. We have an Ole Miss signee on Southwind's team.
On a day like today, it's only right, man. It's only right, man.
How fitting on the day of the Egg Bowl. We have our own Egg Bowl right here. So we'll watch that matchup. Maybe we'll get a preview for what the rivalry is on the basketball side in the future. But this is going to be fun. Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick, 5 guard, and he can flat out play and score. What do you like about Dante out of Southwind.
Ironically enough, he and Witherspoon have very similar games.
That's right.
Dorsey really likes to get up and down. He's great in transition. You see him already bumping and jockeying for position. Game hadn't even gotten started yet. So I look for them to go against each other, to see a lot of matchups where they're individually isolated on one another. And it should always in high school keep an eye on foul trouble for both of these young men here in the first half.
Only 5 fouls to give on the high school level, so you're right. We're going to watch it. Southwind's going to open up. Good ball movement. 3 on the way, no good. Rebound by Southwind. They're going to second chance opportunity here. Kevin Cheatham was a little strong or a little short on the first 3-point attempt and field goal attempt of the game. They're going to work. Good pass on the inside. One pass too many. It's take away from the Falcons. Look at Weatherspoon plowing over people. He's in the Egg Bowl spirit as he runs over somebody on his way to the rim, and he's fouled.
Hey, a couple of notes from Dak Prescott on that one, just running people over, man.
Ready to roll. Velma Jackson inbounding. They are the 2-time defending champs, state champs on the 2A level. 3A level, excuse me. Don't get it wrong. On the 3A level, swinging it around Southwind after Velma Jackson comes up empty-handed. Southwind does the same. They turn the ball over. And a little sloppy start to this one.
Well, to be expected. You know, big stage for both of these teams here.
Weatherspoon says, I got your sloppy right here. There's 2. 15-footer, just a pull-up, one-man offense there. I'm going to dribble it into the front court, take it myself, and knock it down.
If he's able to hit that at the next level, it really changes Jackson in the way that you see him. Same thing with that shot there from Dante. If those two can make shots like that, it changes them into more of scorers at the next level as opposed to secondary guys, complementary pieces to Malik Newman. Now you really see them more as a 1-2 if they can make those shots.
Checking in for Southwind quickly, that's Malcolm A. Mason. And now Dante Dorsey, strong into the lane, a little scoop shot, but he's called for the charge. We'll mark it down. That's his first foul. Moses Greenwood with his feet planted takes that charge. Moses averaging 11 points a game. He's somebody to watch out for. He's a very good contributor. Whoa! Goodness gracious. When there's some guys that can't feet like that. Weatherspoon head up near the rim. That was really, really easy for him to throw that down on the run in traffic.
That young fellow wasted 0 time making his presence felt in this one.
And back at him, it's Dante Dorsey cleaning up the miss and almost getting the N1, but he'll go to the line for 2. Wow.
Well, no, that's the second time already that we've seen Dante there in traffic, making plays, willing to sacrifice his body, trying to get inside and be active. He made that great diagonal pass out of the zone on the initial play there on offense on their end there in the first half. And that's something that he's got to continue to do is stay inside the lane, keep playing, and then be able to make the free throws that come with it.
1 of 2 at the line. The second one rattled around and came out. And here comes Velma Jackson in transition. 1-on-1 basketball is going to get called for the walk. He took 1 step and then jump stop, and that is not allowed. And coming out of the game is Dante Dorsey.
You see immediately the coach giving him a little adjustment for the zone there, saying they brought him out specifically not to burn a timeout, but to be able to get their point across. Obviously, they see something with this zone that's being thrown at them here early. They want to make that adjustment and make sure Dante's leading.
Witherspoon with the steal. Now he's facing a trap. Quickly, Dante Dorsey off the bench. They got the message to him and said, okay, now get back in there. We need you.
And I always like that. I don't think it's a great idea to burn the timeout. You only get 5 for the total course of the game. So if you can get him in and out in a possession, be able to talk to him, get him calmed down, now you set yourself up.
Moses Greenwood for 3, and I did not know that was in his arsenal. He didn't make one yesterday. I don't think he took one yesterday. Greenwood with some size knocks that down. Back the other way, another 3-point attempt. This ball's deflected out of bounds off the miss. Cheatham is 0 for 2 from downtown.
Well, and that 3 looked like he meant to take it. If nothing else, he's got the both of us fooled on that one.
Yeah, he's confident.
Yeah, no question. He's so strong. You look at his shoulders and his arms, his ability, even his calves, man. his ability to put people on his back and rebound to the basketball play. If he can show even range to 16 or 17, you have to be at the 3 line. Now it gives you reason to believe and be able to see him as a 4 forward.
Pounding his way into the lane. There's Dorsey. Can't get the shot to go. It's batted around. He said it should be Southwind basketball, and it is. Dante Dorsey's got some strength on him as well. Well, both of them, Weatherspoon's. They may have a slender frame, but those guys can bruise in the paint as well. At least on this level. The next level, it turns, the interior presence changes a little.
Yeah, by a couple of inches and multiple pounds.
Right.
But you know what, though? And we talk about what translates and what doesn't. That long 3 there from that's 25 feet.
That was with ease.
The ability to make shots, the ability to bring activity and energy, and the willingness to do whatever's asked of you translates at any level.
Greenwood tries to fade away. He's feeling like a guard in this one so far. Left that one short. Jump stop in the lane. Dorsey with the drop off. A floater in the lane is no good. Cleared off by Weatherspoon. Here he comes, pushing tempo into the front court. Kind of a Euro step off the glass when Derry Witherspoon has 6.
We showcase the multiple facets of his game right now, from the 17-footer to the Euro step finish right there, the 2-handed dunk off of 2 feet. And he really is doing a lot of different things and showcasing, once again, why he had offers from schools like Mississippi State.
And the angle he got to there, maybe not the ideal angle you want to be at, but that's what scorers do. They make shots from tough angles and shots that other people just flat out don't.
No question.
Cheatham to inbound. He's going to throw it near the backcourt. That's Antonio Sawyer. Now Dante. In the corner to Cheatham. The banging. We got it's an extended zone look. It's a 2-3 that they really spread out over the floor, Velma Jackson. And you would think they wouldn't play a 2-3 against a team that can shoot the ball like Southwind can. Got a steal and a rack attack, going hard to the rim, putting it off the glass. I think he wanted to dunk it, but when he was challenged, he put it off the glass. That's Nicholas Weatherspoon. Just a sophomore, Weatherspoon is.
Boy, it looked like there for about 2 seconds that he was about to go get him one, man. That was a heck of a take there. And, even with the contact, to be able to finish that.
Everybody leans back in their seats when stuff like that happens. He leaps up there, and everybody's on edge. There's another long attempt from, and that was way too strong. And now on the inside, powerful move by Greenwood. He's going to get called for steps on the spin move there. Traveling violation, Southwind basketball.
Well, Nicholas comes by it easy. If you want to know, his brother is Quindary, this one with. So you see the athleticism running inside the family there. Definitely Nicholas and I to keep, a prospect to keep an eye on over the next couple of years. We know we were Brandon Clay scouting.
And we looked at, we were talking about Weatherspoon's athleticism. You see him get in the lane, he's fouled and kisses it off the glass. He did not draw the foul on that particular play, but kissed it off the glass anyway despite the tough angle. Easy to see why the scouts love him.
Well, good pace so far. If you're Southwind, you want to try to find a way to beat that zone per se. You're going to have somebody else outside of Dante, Dorsey Fitzpatrick, score the basketball for you. I think that's something that we've seen here in the first 5 minutes is who's going to be that second scorer, that second guy that can complement Dante, that he can get rolling or they can get rolling themselves.
Good strong move on the baseline. Had it knocked away from him, though. That was Antonio Sawyer. Asserted himself here in the early going. Good defense from Velma Jackson, just a harassing zone. This isn't a zone that just sits back and waits. This is a zone that harasses and attacks, and they force another turnover as Dorsey Fitzpatrick called for the walk on the inside. Loose ball saved in by Velma Jackson. They thought they had possession, but they don't. Cheatham with the steal, and Fitzpatrick's going to clean it up. He's got 2 more, and he has all 6 points for Southwind. Full court pressure from Southwind forces another turnover. There's a flop underneath.
No call there.
Fitzpatrick misses the layup, gets it back, and he's got all 8 for Southwind. Southwind, full court pressure. It's broken this time. An easy layup for number 15, Nicholas Weatherspoon. Cheatham in the corner. Gets a pick, stops in the lane. Way too strong on that shot. Weatherspoon clears off the rebound. And he's got Sawyer right in his face, full court.
What's interesting, Weatherspoon's frame reminds me of a young man in Ohio named Essa Ahmad that's going to West Virginia, who we've got in the top 100, BrandonClayScouting.com. And Weatherspoon, we're going to expand to 150. And this is a great viewing for both Dorsey Fitzpatrick and for Weatherspoon to possibly get.
Kendarius Smith with a nice baseline jumper there. Stretched the lead to 7, 15-8. Cheatham's now 0 for 3 from down. Somebody gets on the board other than Fitzpatrick. That's Tyler Brewer cleaning up the offensive rebound and putting it in for 2. Velma Jackson having a hard time getting the ball in bounds. Timeout called by the Falcons. That full court pressure from Southwind really starting to bother Velma Jackson. The lead is now only 5. It's a 30-second timeout, and we've got a chance to thank some of our sponsors. Powerade sponsors all of our instant replays, and we appreciate their sponsorship. And you see Weatherspoon going hard to the rack on that replay. He was fouled and went to the line to complete the 3-point. I also want to thank the Hampton Inn, welcoming all teams to the Lighthouse Thanksgiving Classic, as well as Physicians Urgent Care, get in, get out, and get well, and Crossover Basketball, providing full statistical analysis to coaches and players on their game film. Southwind, with this full court pressure, does not mess around. They didn't come out in that pressure, but they've dialed it since about midway through the first, and it's given them it's given Velma Jackson a hard time. There's another batted ball stolen away by Southwind. The boys from Memphis cranking up the heat, and it's a sloppy exchange there. 3-on-1 the other way. What a nifty little pass, and Weatherspoon finishes. That was a slick little find by Kendarius Smith.
It sure was. He got out in transition, and it was great because either way, Weatherspoon was going to have an opportunity to finish his pass there.
The 2 Weatherspoons each have 6. The rest of the team has 7. No, I'm sorry. The rest of the team has 5 for a total of 17. Southwind working it around. Loose ball on the floor. Falcons pick it up. In transition, Weatherspoon hard to the rack. Can't finish that, but he is fouled. He'll go to the line for 2. 6.9 seconds left in the first quarter. It's been all Falcons so far, even though Southwind's pressure starting to bother Velma Jackson a little, forced a few turnovers.
The tough part with applying pressure in the full court like that is you have to make baskets. And then you got to find a way to score, whether it be on free throws, whether it be layups, threes, some kind of score to be able to apply the pressure. As you can tell by the score, Southwind hasn't scored enough to consistently apply that pressure to this point in the game.
Quindary Weatherspoon smooth on both free throws. 5 seconds to play now. Turnover. 3-pointer from half court almost goes in for Nicholas Weatherspoon. It goes off glass and off iron. And that's how the first quarter ends. We'll take a break. Logan Stout alongside Brandon Clay. We're having some fun here at the Lighthouse Thanksgiving Classic. This broadcast is powered by SUV TV. Back at Corinth High School, the home of the Warriors. Moses Greenwood for Velma Jackson has it on the wing. His comfort zone over there, even though he did make an outside shot earlier. Running the point is now on the wing here. Nicholas Rivers dumps it on the inside. That's Anthony Brown, and he gets 2.
That was a nice flex cut there on the backside. Very traditional offense there. Nice flex cut on the offside block, which allowed him to get open for the score.
Shot up and swatted away by Moses Greenwood. Just poked that one out of there, out of bounds. It will remain Southwind basketball. They trail by 11. And there's a big 3 on the way from Dorsey Fitzpatrick. Dorsey Fitzpatrick gets too strong and back the other way. Smith goes hard to the rim. He loses control. And here comes Southwind the other way. Out of control, up and down we go. Another turnover. Jackson the other way. Greenwood's going to finish and get fouled. And I tell you, Brandon, Southwind is in trouble here. They're 5-0 on the year, and if they're not careful, Velma Jackson will bury them here in the first half, and it'll be over.
Well, the difference in the game right now, quite honestly, is it's diverse in terms of the scoring for Velma Jackson. They're getting scoring and production from multiple players. Right now, for Southwind, if it's not Dorsey Fitzpatrick, it's not happening. They're not going to be able to win or even compete in this game very long like that.
A lob can't convert the easy bucket. Velma Jackson with the basketball and a 13-point lead, 6:50 first half. Smith. Over on the wing, that's Brown. He dumps it inside. Nice pump fake. Shot attempt by Weatherspoon, no good. Moses Greenwood tips it in. Moses Greenwood having a very nice afternoon. He's got 7. Several boards, an assist, an outside shot, and a 15-point lead for Velma Jackson.
Well, it's tough. I mean, I made the ride in here today from Memphis. You do not want to make that ride back to Memphis on that road after a loss. You're talking about already being quiet and not a lot going on. It's going to be even worse headed back to Southwind. They've got to find from somewhere else right now. I'm sure that's what coach is playing. And they've just got to play harder. They're getting outmanned on the boards right now, both ends of the floor. Every time you look up, somebody in blue's got the basketball in their hands.
Velma Jackson's 4-0 on the year yesterday. Southwind is 5-0 on the year. One of these undefeated teams will leave with a loss. And right now, Southwind is rocked back on their heels by this initial effort from Velma Jackson. There's Dorsey Fitzpatrick in the lane. That's what they need more of, and that's offense. He scores from the elbow. And on the full court pressure, we had a deflection. Quindary Weatherspoon corrals it, though. He's in the front court now. Him and Dorsey Fitzpatrick going at it. Active defense. Moses Greenwood on the curl. Jump shot, no good. Cleared off by Southwind, pushing the tempo all the way.
Nice.
Bounce pass. Oh, a rejection. That was something special right there. Those two met in mid-air, and I tell you, Dorsey Fitzpatrick and Moses Greenwood jawing at each other. There is some bumping, a little shove there as well. This will get chippy here in just a second, but we'll have a replay there of that. That was something else. I think it's already happened. I look over the monitor and I see it finishing up, but that's
what happens when you're around Marcus Burdett, man. He makes things happen before you even knew they happened.
There you go.
Man.
Marcus just, I feel like I work with ESPN sometimes when I'm working with him over here. This is great. That was...
What a play.
That was a collision. And like I said, it's chippy afterwards. That wasn't Fitzpatrick that had his shot rejected at the rim, but I think he stood up for his teammates, what happened. And that started a little jawing match there, and so it'll get real chippy here. It's a 12-point advantage for Southwind. Here's Greenwood now into the front court all alone. Says let's run some offense. Greenwood, flex cut on the inside, and one for Weatherspoon. That's good offensive execution. That wasn't so much a flex cut as it was the cutter cut from the elbow to the block.
They are absolutely killing them with their offside action. You know, whether it be the second cut off the screen, whether it be the flex cut they got a while ago. They are absolutely killing them with. And when you're going to play man like you're going to jump, the offside has got to be aware. They've got to always be in position, 1 foot in the lane. If you're on the other side of the basketball, you've got to be aware so that you don't get cut, and that's not what's happening right now.
Fitzpatrick has it knocked away. It's a loose ball on the floor. 3 guys have it. It's a jump ball. If Fitzpatrick catches on the Dorsey Fitzpatrick, if he catches in the middle like that, he's got to be decisive. No time to waste in there. You're going to have active hands from the Falcons.
Well, and they're doubling down on every single possession. If he catches it there in that pinch post area at the elbow, even right here, they're immediately sending somebody. You see him now, very aware, just turning a quick shot.
Brewer inbounds. Southwind around and set up an offensive set here against this zone. They need a good solid possession, get them some confidence here. Long 3 on the way from Cheatham. Too strong, no good. Greenwood has it. Cheatham was heading the other way after he let that go. He thought he canned it. Kadarius Smith, nifty ball handling. He's going to lob it up. Anthony Brown's going to set up the offense.
They need Cheatham to make a basket. You know, it's very obvious and apparent here that that's the second guy for them in terms of the way that their style of play is. They need him to step up and provide a little help.
You know you've got athletes when you can't finish a sentence sometimes. Dorsey Fitzpatrick shakes the rim with a 2-handed stuff. 15-28 in favor of the Falcons from Velma Jackson. They got a 13-point advantage and the basketball, 4 minutes to play.
Really holding Quindary Weatherspoon to keep him from scoring it.
Nicholas Weatherspoon had his hands on it, had it knocked away. Nifty pass from Greenwood, and Greenwood's shaken up. He limps down to the other end. Fitzpatrick throws the lob. Anderson was there, but so was another Southwind player.
That play right there sums up the first 12 minutes so far for Southwind. Even when they're trying to make the right play, something kind of goes awry. You see Dante just smile like, man, it's going to get better.
Kadarius Smith all the way to the rim. That kid can fly. He got down the floor in a hurry and got 2.
Boy, that's end-to-end speed. You want to know what end-to-end speed is. When you get the basketball, everybody on the other end is taller than you and in front of you, and you beat them and still get to the rim to finish it.
Fitzpatrick away. Here's Weatherspoon. Ooh, he made it look easy. Quindary Weatherspoon shrugs off the defender, contorts his body, keeps good balance, and lays that in off the glass for 2. That prompts another timeout from Southwind. They now trail by 17. Logan Stout alongside Brandon. Look at some of the action on the replay. This has been a fun event. Lots of athleticism on display, including Dorsey Fitzpatrick.
Well, you talk about him. They have not been able to get that second person going for him. I'm looking for Cheatham to do that, to become that guy for him. But they've got to find somebody, and they've got to find them quickly. They're down 32-15, and if this thing keeps rolling, they're going to be down 20 at the half. That's going to be a tough deficit. When you look at the matchups on paper, that's a tough deficit to come back from.
Dante Dorsey with 13, the rest of the team with 2. And that sums up the offensive production for Southwind. And the Velma Jackson offense has been very efficient. You see on the replay there, it's been ball movement, flex cuts, cutter cuts, good offensive sets and buckets for the Falcons. On the defensive end too, forced quite a few turnovers.
They really made them play. They've done a great job in the half court with the zone. A lot of times you see zone and guys are stagnant. They're just kind of hanging out. That's not what this has been. Some perspective, they really have had an eye on Dorsey Fitzpatrick. Every time he catches, the double's coming.
Cheatham thought about the 3. He's 0 for 3 from down there. Southwind going to work it around. Cheatham's going to try a deep 3, and he can one. Kevin Cheatham, his first bucket of the game, and that's a big one. If he can get hot, this game will get a lot closer in a hurry. They force a turnover. Fitzpatrick, he's going to pull from deep. Tried to snatch it like we talked about earlier. No good.
Ooh, that very well could have been a foul there on Witherspoon.
Cheatham pulls the rebound. Weatherspoon got away with a little bump there. The coaches barking commands at Dante Fitzpatrick. Dorsey Fitzpatrick. Long three from Cheatham is no good. It rolled around and out. In the other way, just a running back mentality there for Nicholas Weatherspoon. Everybody wants that basket to count, but they're going to say it was a foul on the floor. I think Southwind got away with one.
That's tough, man. I mean, he took the contact, took one more step to the side, no dribble, no anything. I don't know how that doesn't count, but for Southwind, you'll take the break and keep playing.
Falcons lead by 14, chance to stretch that lead. The first is good for Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon gets them both. Nicholas Weatherspoon, I should say. Cheatham on the dribble, gives it up. Good ball movement. A nice look there from Markham Freeman. Finishing at the rim. It's Antonio Sawyer. Quindary now. Weatherspoon over to Smith. Falcons setting up their offense. Smith in the lane. Jump stop. I believe he's called for the travel, and he is as he got in the lane.
Yeah, he hit him with that 1-2 we talked about earlier, that LeBron, as I call it, man, as opposed to landing with both feet at the same time, which by rule is what you got to do. He landed with the quick 1-2.
Cheatham now into the front court, throws the lob. My goodness, if Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick brings that in, I think we're all oohing and on. It results in a turnover. Falcons having a hard time inbounding the basketball, and in fact, they get a 5-second call against them. A minute and a half to play here in the second quarter.
Well, and that's the thing, honestly. If Southwind can score the basketball, layups, free throws, whatever, if they can create a couple ways to score, they can get back in this game with their defense. They have shown that they can apply pressure, and Velma Jackson has shown that they've just got to find a way to get those dead ball stops or to get those baskets that immediately result in an inbound where they can pressure the ball.
Cheatham is fouled. Basket does not count. Hey, you look at the scoreboard, Velma Jackson has 34 points. That's not too many. Velma Jackson's got all kinds of offense on their team. They could score in bunches. They can score 50 or 60 and a half really quick. And Southwind's held them to 34. They're just having a hard time scoring on their own.
No question.
Dorsey Fitzpatrick gets it into the corner. Now they're going to work it around. They're looking for him again as he roams the baseline. Jab step, pump fake. Good defense there. Bounce pass. Cheatham with the jump stop.
Boy.
Good look there. Basket and the foul for Antonio Sawyer.
Cheatham has emerged now as that second playmaker. It doesn't always have to be a score. You've seen him now with a couple different passes that have gotten his other teammates involved, and it's allowing them to get baskets without Dorsey Fitzpatrick, number one, expending energy, but number two, having to be the go-to focal point of their offense on every single possession.
Free throw, no good. 52 seconds to play in the first half. Smith into the front court. Weatherspoon. Skip pass over here to Anthony Brown. Moses Greenwood gets it to Quindary Witherspoon. Man right on top of him. Brown kicks it to Moses Greenwood. Moses Greenwood had it knocked away by Cheatham. 23 seconds. Subbing in for Velma Jackson, that's Nicholas Rivers. Off the side inbound, Falcons looking for somebody to get. secondary Weatherspoon. Guarded closely by Sawyer. They doubled Weatherspoon. That opened up the floor. Other opportunities there. High for the rebound, and getting fouled eventually is Nicholas Rivers.
I said this, if I'm Paul Edwards from Southwind, and that's the shot that I got to live with, I'm perfectly fine with that shot being taken. You know, it's neither of the two Weatherspoons. It's not Greenwood, any of the multitude of guys that have scored for Velma Jackson. So I'm perfectly fine with that shot, but we've got to the rebound. That's the tough part about running and jumping now, is that you're a man down, not so much for the first shot, but for the rebound, the box out in the second one.
It's pretty easy to get a high school player to take a shot that you know, these guys love to score, so they'll take that shot, but you got to go finish the play and go rebound.
No question.
1 of 2 at the line. Goes Rivers. In transition. Southwind with the basketball. Cheatham, he's got 5 seconds to play. Big three on the wing, in and out, no good. That would have made things really interesting. Instead, it'll be a 13-point advantage for Velma Jackson. Southwind a little confused by what just hit him there in the first half. There was basically Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick and just a few baskets for other players. We'll see if they can get some other guys going in the second. Logan Stout alongside Brandon Clay. You are watching the Lighthouse Thanksgiving Classic presented by SUV TV.
Crossover intelligence for basketball can save you hours. We break down and stat your game film for you and act as your video coordinator by giving you searchable clips, advanced statistics, shot charts, and a lot of other great info that you can access from any PC or through our iPad application. Just video through the Crossover website, and 24 hours later, your film will be completely indexed and tagged. Each play will become its own video clip, allowing you to search the footage for anything. Here we'll take a look at all 3-pointers that were made in the fourth quarter. All of your offensive and defensive sets can also be tagged, so you can view the appropriate clips and determine which plays are achieving the best results. You can add any clip to a playlist or highlight reel and share everything with your players or assistant coaches. Crossover will also provide you with all of the numbers from each, including complete player stats for both teams and advanced metrics like these. We even take the shooting numbers a step further with an interactive shot chart that lets you visualize the data. Filter by player, makes or misses, and click on any shot to watch the corresponding video. Crossover intelligence will keep you from spending hours in the film room and get you back to actually coaching. Together, we can turn smarter video into more wins for you. That's the crossover effect.
Welcome back to SUV TV. Logan Stout alongside Brandon Clay. We're bringing you the Lighthouse Thanksgiving Classic here in Corinth, Mississippi at Corinth High School. Warriors. Hey, if you're watching at home online, please give us a tweet. Use the hashtag SUVTV and tell us you're watching. If you got something you need to see or a suggestion, we'll try to make it happen. Just hashtag SUVTV. Let us know we're watching. We'll put your tweet on air if we get a chance to. We already we did that earlier. Had some people watching said they were thankful for SUVTV today and the Thanksgiving weekend. And so we appreciate your feedback, but we're back to basketball action. It's Falcons and Jaguars. Velma Jackson with the basketball. The question here in the second half, we've had a great defense on both sides. The question is, can Southwind get some form of offensive rhythm here in this second half? Because without it, Velma Jackson will run away with this.
Well, Cheatham started to get going, I thought, in the tail end there of the first half. Provided some assist. Miss signing if you hadn't been on the broadcast in the first half, if you missed it. Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick, and you see him now turning up that defensive pressure once again. We talked about that being what made buckets allow you to do, but tough finish there by Greenwood. He's been shaken up, and you see him still favoring. It looks like maybe that leg. He's really struggled. He was set out the majority of the second quarter with that issue.
And I think they're going to take him out after this free throw. They send somebody to the scores table. He gets the basket and the foul. Southwind got an easy basket on the other end. And Greenwood says he doesn't want to come out. He's hurting, so his coaches are gladly, or obviously, going to take him out. These are some valuable young men. They've got bright futures in front of them, and no need to try to play through something that could get worse.
When you saw Anthony Carlisle look at him and say, "Hey, man, go to the end and let them look at you," it's
right,
okay.
Yeah. Huh? Totally fine. Here's Cheatham in the lane. Good find there. Fitzpatrick blocked by the rim. Fitzpatrick and Weatherspoon both go up there, and I guess he thought he was closer than he actually was. Didn't quite get the ball over the cylinder.
Another great pass there from Cheatham, really showing himself as what we would refer to as a distributor. Last 8 minutes of gameplay. Get in the seams, making the game easier for his teammates through his ability to pass the basketball.
Dorsey Fitzpatrick, skip pass to Cheatham. Cheatham in the lane. Off the glass is a good take. Little too short. Weatherspoon now in transition. He's not going hard to the rim. He's fouled. We'll go to the line for two. It's a 14-point advantage for the Falcons of Velma Jackson. Chance to extend it here.
When you see he really likes step coming back to that left foot. So ball coming down the floor, left side, step right, get the defender to lock and commit. Step left, take the bump, draw the foul, and still get the.
And it's interesting, he goes to the left side of the rim, but he finishes with the right hand on that side. Weatherspoon converts 1 of 2. Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick was bumped, made the shot, and he's back in it now. Maybe that'll get him going even more than he already has been, and that's going to force a turnover. Big shot like that gives your team some momentum. Some energy on defense forces the turnover.
And we talked about it allowing them to apply the pressure, and that's exactly what it's done. He's got another look right here.
Ooh, in and out. It was right on line from our angle. He shot it right in front of us. Looked like he canned it, but it just rolled out. Good hustle by Cheatham to get back there, but he's going to be whistled for the foul. I believe they gave scoreboard operator has given 3 points to the wrong. No, they just didn't have the score down for South. It is to 27 now in favor of the Falcons. It's a 13-point lead.
Hovering right in, once we talk about that danger zone, where you need to make a couple of baskets to give yourself a chance to compete here throughout the remainder of the second half. That's exactly where the game is right now for Southwind.
Big three on the way there, too strong. They can't convert a basket unless it's somebody from the outside named Dorsey Fitzpatrick.
That's tough.
A finish on a finish near the rim on the other side, and a pass deflection as well for the Falcons.
Well, the body control there from Weatherspoon to be able to make the play there, little bump, no big deal, still finish.
3 ball on the way, off back iron, no good. It's cleared out by the Falcons, and they want to run. Here's Kendarius Smith. He goes hard to the rim, acrobatic shot. Tried to go Dwayne Wade on us there at the end, and he's fouled. Challenge there is Carlos Marshall. He's called for the foul. Can't connect on the first.
They're not in a position to be able to leave, and they, being Southwind, possessions on the table. They've got to find a way to convert at an extremely high rate here in the third quarter. They've got to continue to find ways to get Dorsey Fitzpatrick the basketball in positions he can score, especially when and if Cheatham is off the floor.
Right as you say that, we have Southwind turnover.
And Cheatham goes back in the game.
There he is.
Well, you know, especially when you spend a lot of time, evaluating, players across the country. It's a game of can you or can you not. It's set stuff. So you watch skill sets and then you make assessments. Every now and again, somebody can fool you, maybe grow and develop. But when you watch a game like this, in terms of in 32 minutes, Dorsey Fitzpatrick is the main scorer. Cheatham is the second scorer, the second creator. You're down 16. Those two guys are probably going to be the ones that lead you back,
Quindary Weatherspoon into the front court. Guarded closely by Carlos Marshall. That's a good matchup. Kendarius Smith now using the crossover. Gets around Cheatham. Underneath. Layup no good. Put back no good. Dorsey Fitzpatrick's going to pull the rebound down. He's going to push tempo into the front court.
Throws
pass. The lob. Coming down with it. My favorite part about that is that Robert Boyd, instead of trying to score immediately, he knew it would have been a tough shot. He come down with it, gathered himself, went back up, got fouled, and scored.
Agree 100% with you on that.
That alley-oop is effective if you can lay it in and you got a good shot right away, but he did not have that, so he came down and collected himself and finished. It's a 14-point lead for the Falcons. They have the ball as well. Falcons working it around, trying to show some patience here. They ran some really good offensive sets there in the... Oh, and then there's a miscue. Right as I say, they ran some really good offensive sets there in the first half. They throw one away.
You jinxed them, my friend.
I know it. That's the broadcaster jinx. It was in effect yesterday as well. Southwind with the basketball and a chance to bring themselves closer. They get it to Antonio Sawyer. He's got 6. Starting to get interesting. Weatherspoon just going baseball past
this. What a catch.
Great catch, like a wideout down here. That was Anthony Brown going up to get it. He's got it up top now. Cheatham guarding him.
When you can feel the momentum changing here on the Southwind bench, even sitting right here next to us. Oh, great finish.
I tell you, he's very good at English around the rim.
Yes, he is.
Spin the ball off the backboard. Kyrie Irving comes to mind. He's certainly not on that level by any means, but Kyrie's one that's got English around the rim. And how about that? Quindary sheds the defender, pulls up for 3. Left it short, though.
What's interesting, every time Southwind's tried to make a run, it's been Weatherspoon that's been right there to answer with some kind of basket, floating around the rim, and a finish to keep a double-digit lead.
That lead is 14 right now, 3:30 to play in the third quarter. On the inbound. Fitzpatrick kicks it out. Now here he is on the wing, a wide open look, and he canned it for three. He's telling Weatherspoon about it a little bit. Patted him on the back, and now up on the inbound.
This is good.
Here's Smith out on the run out. Boy, he's fast. Oh, wow. Dorsey Fitzpatrick blocks the shot, corrals it, in transition, no-look pass, and two more for Southwind as Chris Hale finishes at the rim. It's a 9-point game. Energy starting to pick up in this one as Southwind really forcing the pressure. Here comes Anthony Brown in the front court. Kick out, Weatherspoon thought about the three, but felt defenders closing in. Anthony Brown on the wing.
Be interested to see how long here Velma Jackson goes if they miss this shot. Oh, big time shot. I was about to say without a timeout, but he's actually going to take a timeout on the make and stretch it back to 12.
Kendarius Smith just squared up, lined it up, and knocked it down like he's done times. That was a good-looking shot by him.
It's a big-time shot, man. Momentum definitely shifting Southwind's way. Cut the game back in the digits. A miss probably results in a long rebound and an opportunity for them to make a play, and he sticks the three.
In transition, Dorsey Fitzpatrick finding Chris Hale underneath for an easy two. Southwind has a little momentum even after the three by Kendarius Smith. You felt Southwind has cranked up the pressure enough to put a little run together.
Well, the thing they've done there is they've made baskets. So can they continue to make the baskets needed to apply the pressure, hopefully get this thing with inside single digits before the quarter ends.
As action resumes, it'll be Southwind with the basketball. They trail by 12. 2:20 to play in the third. Logan Stout and Brandon Clay bringing you the Lighthouse Thanksgiving Classic, a wonderful event from Corinth High School.
You can see they're trying to get that action now where they're going to screen the top of the zone. You see them yelling at Chris Hale, the coaching staff, set it, set it, set it. They want to get that screen almost as if it were a man, set it against that back side of the top of the zone to give Cheatham a chance to create off the bounce.
Dorsey Fitzpatrick in traffic. That is so much harder than he makes it look. In traffic, bobbling that ball. It was a tough pass to catch, and he catches it, stops, spins, and scores. That was impressive right there. We'll get it on the replay after the time, or with the timeout, 30-second timeout by the Falcons. And pay attention here in transition, the ability to catch with a defender right in front of him, spin off of it, and still score at the rim. He made that look a lot easier than it really is.
Most of the time when guys try to make that move, they either walk, they dribble it off their foot, or somebody's able to come from behind. We call it a wolf. Somebody comes from behind, wolf's tip or a steal or some kind of deflection that leads to the action going the other way. So for him to avoid all that, make the play needed to be able to get it done, and was impressive.
And not to mention the charge, too. He had a defender, so a lot of guys burrow over somebody and get a charge. Kendarius Smith, I tell you, this guy is a lightning rod. He can fly. He goes to the rim, gets blocked. A put back up and in by guess who? It's Moses Greenwood back in the game. But Kendarius Smith seems like he breaks the press every time by himself. He's so fast. And two players collide, both Falcons down there on the rebound attempt as Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick let it fly from deep. Minute 15 to play here in the third quarter. And we've got coaches jawing, and this is interesting right here. You're clapping your hands. I love it too. This is interesting. We got players jawing back and forth and we got coaches getting in on the action.
This
that
is
would
awesome.
be that would be head coach. That's what the silence is. Well, the reason why there's stoppage in play is there's some perspiration on the floor. They're trying to clean up down here. But while we're being quiet, the reason why we're being quiet is because we're listening to the chatter. Head coach Paul Edwards for Southwind. It's a three-way conversation between Dorsey Fitzpatrick, Nicholas Weatherspoon, and the head coach Paul Edwards, and that was fun to listen to for us. Friendly jawing.
Competing.
That's competition.
Competing,
is what
man.
that is. That's good stuff. Working it around. Here's Greenwood. He's on the attack.
Boy, he's a difference
Floater
maker.
in the lane.
Man, he is an absolute difference maker. When he gets going off that bounce, Logan, there's not much you can do to keep him in front of you. And he finishes more times than he misses, which is impressive for a guy of his size and skill.
Floater in the lane, kind of a wild shot, loose ball. Southwind gets it. Big power dribble, windmill in the lane, no good. Cleared off by Weatherspoon to the other Weatherspoon. He's going to push the tempo, and I thought he got away with the walk, but he didn't. They're going to call it on him. That was Arthur Eldridge in transition, shuffled his feet. And pushing the tempo is Southwind, a big entry pass. Shot blocked by Greenwood. It's all over the action, and here's Smith pushing tempo. Change of pace, hands it off to Greenwood, loses it, gets it back. Being harassed, and he gets it out to Weatherspoon. Nicholas and Quindary, 10 seconds to play in the third quarter. This would be a big basket for Velma Jackson. There goes Smith to work, penetrate. Greenwood shot too strong. And Southwind lucky to be only down 14 after possession. Greenwood's shot came off wide left.
No question. If you're Southwind, you would love to have, when you made that run before the Smith three, when this was about 3 minutes left in the quarter, that really was your time to finish off the run and get this game back double digits. I know we're over getting an official count here for Dorsey Fitzpatrick's points. He's been hitting everything in sight. Looks like he's got a cool 21 here through 3 quarters, and no surprise, he really has been counted on to do a lot of the work so far for.
Quindary Weatherspoon has 15, but the difference in these two teams, if you look at the stat sheet, Quindary Weatherspoon 15, Moses Greenwood's in double digits, Nicholas Weatherspoon's in double digits, Kendarius Smith has 9.
Yep.
And for Southwind, you got Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick 1, Antonio Sawyer is the next highest scorer with 6. So a balanced attack from the Falcons. They are the 2-time defending 3A state champs in the state of Mississippi, and they're showing why.
I was just about to say, you can see it's evident. It's a full team game. Everybody making plays.
Nice finish there by Carlos Marshall. And it's time to really crank it up if you're Southwind. Kendarius Smith has been beating the press by himself all game. He does it again. Gets it to Nicholas Weatherspoon. And now here is Smith up top. Long three from Smith. Drew some contact. Back iron. Big battle for the rebound. Dorsey Fitzpatrick comes away with it. Didn't like all the contact he got there. That was him and Arthur Eldridge. Kind of in a scrum there. Eldridge called for the foul. Letting it roll into the front court is Cheatham. Cheatham sets it up. He's got his feet square. Weatherspoon runs at him, makes him make a move. He gets the basket and the foul. That is what you've been asking for all game out of Kevin Cheatham. He now has 5, chance to make it 6.
Well, and this is the time right now for him. We saw that extended period there late in the second quarter where he showed us some glimpses, got started there early in the third. But he has got to bring that dynamic to this game for the remaining 7:15. He can't do it for 2 minutes. They're down 10. Velma Jackson's not going to not score again. That's not going to happen either. So he's got to be able to bring that dynamic off of the pressure, off of the turnovers, and the half-court set. Every single time they get the ball and Dorsey Fitzpatrick is not the one scoring, Cheatham has got to give them an opportunity to be successful on the offensive end of the floor.
Smith in transition gets it to Nicholas Weatherspoon. He's fouled as he goes to the rim. 2 free throws coming. And I love it. Brandon Clay's got his nose right in this. He's listening to the coaching that Kevin Cheatham is getting. Let us in the huddle there. What is Coach Edwards telling his point guard?
You could hear him talking about the couple of different ways that they wanted to get the ball in his hand if they saw the press. And then once he gets it, you've got to get into the what he was saying. It was, hey, if somehow you see pressure, know what you're seeing. But look, there are 2 different options. You can either catch the ball and attack, which is there, bam, or you can catch the ball and get into the lane, but you've got to do one of those 2 things. And Coach looks at him, kind of nods his head. Cheatham goes, I got you, Coach. Well, he had him.
Well, there it is. Big 3 for Cheatham. The lead is 7. Velma Jackson facing some resistance really for the first time this game. They've been in front by double digits, it seems, since early in the first quarter. Here's Quindary Weatherspoon, crossover in the lane, jump stop. There's a flop underneath, but Weatherspoon with a rare miss. Here's Cheatham. I thought he was going to pull. Instead, he crosses over. Out. And Moses Greenwood needs to be careful. He spiked that basketball, like we said earlier. That's in some gyms on some nights. That's an automatic tee.
Going to him and saying something like, I'm not trying to get you, young fella, but anytime you put that hard, you're immediately opening yourself up to a technical foul call if the referee feels generous enough to give you one, man.
Chris Hale to inbound for Southwind, now only facing a set.
Oh, no, a golden opportunity.
Dorsey Fitzpatrick tries to swing it around the outside and throws it way over the head of Kevin Cheatham. And you and I both, we're both broadcasters, unbiased, but we both, because we want to see a good, close, competitive game, and Southwind had a chance to close the gap there.
Well, and Dorsey Fitzpatrick hasn't had many of those moments tonight. He's been spectacular and you saw him literally, he did the same thing we're doing, like, oh, man, I didn't just do that. Yeah. Tapped his chest a couple of times to let his team know, my bad, y'all.
Weatherspoon gets around Dorsey Fitzpatrick, kicks it to Greenwood, who misses. Here's Southwind's good look in transition. 2 points for Southwind, and Quindary Weatherspoon is cramping up on the other end. Looks like medical personnel rushing to him.
Hey, second been right on top of it, man. I mean, that guy 3 nanoseconds and they were already out there on the hardwood. And this is a major development, though, Logan. And for whatever reason, he battles this through the remainder of the game. That's the place that they've gone when they needed a basket. Every time they've needed a basket to stop the run, the last 2 shots he's taken have not fallen. You're watching him now struggle a little bit with his frame, trying to get him off the floor, but that cramp's not just going to go away. Like, it's not like they're going to rub it out and he's going to be just fine. That's going to be something he has to deal with now for the remainder of the game, even if they are able to loosen it up enough for him to be able to play and finish it off.
And that was interesting because what you got, Kevin Cheatham, he actually up a little bit too. We saw him on the floor here stretching out. And Quindary Weatherspoon has to come out of the game because they stopped the game for his injury. So he does have to come out for at least a play. And I think he's over at the end of the bench getting stretched out. It's definitely just a cramp, which is great news. We've all had cramps. They're no fun at all. But you can stretch those out, and he will be just fine. There's a steal on the inbound. An easy 2 for Chris Hale. He puts that in. Don't look now. It's a 3-point game. Southwind really cranking up the pressure, and stepping on the baseline is Moses Greenwood. Good full-court pressure there without fouling. With his hands up there was, I believe that was, no, I'm sorry, that's Chris Hale. He gets the bucket and forces the turnover.
The question is going to be now, while Quindary Weatherspoon is out, who handles the pressure for Velma Jackson? In a row, they have not been able to get the ball to Kendarius Smith. They've used Weatherspoon as the safety valve. So, okay, we know that they're going to take Kendarius Smith out. We get that. We're fine with that. We've got a guy going to Mississippi State Flash in the middle. I feel pretty good about that.
Yes.
He's going to check in. It will be interesting to see how his leg responds and the type of production, not necessarily the minute, play the next 5 minutes, but the production, that burst to get to the rim one time and to get to that pass one time. Can he do it without cramping up again?
And a turnover for Southwind. They forced the turnover, but then cough one up on their own. Lots of activity here. 5.5 minutes to play here in the fourth and final quarter. On deck, we've got the home Warriors from Corinth High School against Lisanne from Tennessee. So don't go anywhere after this one, but this is going to be an exciting finish. It's a 3-point game. Southwind has clawed their way back into it, and Quindary Weatherspoon with the ball. He's been cramping up. He handled the pressure well that time. Here's Kendarius Smith. Smith with the left hand. Now Weatherspoon. And they want to trap Weatherspoon. That's exactly what they do. Cheatham now guarding Smith. Weatherspoon slips and falls. I don't know if he's cramping or not. He looks like he's in a little bit of pain. And there's Kendarius Smith going at Cheatham. Skip pass to Greenwood. Greenwood in the corner. Greenwood goes baseline. Reverse layup, no good. Cheatham with the rebound. Tempo, kicks it out on the wing. Dorsey Fitzpatrick with the left hand. Guarded close. Gets it into the middle. Over on the wing. 3-ball on the way. This is a big shot in and out. No good. How about the strong rebound and putback attempt there? That's Robert Boyd battling on the boards.
We talked about this in the game earlier today. Teams that have been in an attack mode for 26, 27 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're asked to bring it out, stretch it out. Smith had the opportunity to dribble drive there for what could have been a layup, if nothing else, from free throws, and ends up kicking it to Greenwood, who then is in an ISO mode at 19 feet. That's a tough play. I think you've got to continue to let Smith be the catalyst. I like the idea of stretching the floor out. If they're going to play man, that's fine. Now you let Smith get into the teeth. Hey, you're going to have to be the one that makes a play for us right now. Go make a play.
You know, 1 minute left in the game, I could see you stretching it out and killing some clock, but not with 5. It's still time to play. Here goes Weatherspoon, throws the lob to Greenwood, who wise. I thought he was going to land, gather himself, and go back up, but instead he landed, slipped and fell, called for the walk. I tell you, injuries are an issue for the Falcons right now because Quindary's cramping up. We saw Moses Greenwood go down earlier. He really hasn't been since then as far as being explosive. And now you to the front court, Southwind trailing by only 1.
This has turned into a great game. It's interesting because, let's see what the call is. They're going to give him the basket.
Dorsey Fitzpatrick, basket in the lane and the foul. He'll go to the line. Southwind with their first lead of the game and a chance to make it a 2-point advantage.
They were able to stem the tide. We talked about when they made that run there. Smith hit the 3 at the time to kind of deaden the run, but they got it back to a manageable, I think it was 12. It went from 9 to 12 on that 3. And ever since, it's just kind of hovered, and some things have happened. You know, now they get it to Smith, but Smith hasn't been as effective as he was earlier.
Smith burrowing in the lane. He's called for a walk. In the lane, lots of contact there. He lowered his shoulder, and he's called for the walk. Back the other way, skip pass off the hands of Mark Freeman and out of bounds over here on the bench. So Southwind forces a turnover and then coughs it up on their own.
Yep. Well, you got to at least get shots on goal right now. You know, even if you were to go 0 for the next 8, you got to get 8 shots if you get 8 possessions. You can't afford both teams to turn the basketball over.
Smith in the lane, skip pass on the far
pivot feet.
Nicholas Weatherspoon on the catch, switched pivot foots, and then tried to switch it again after he had the ball.
Well, this game, it's obviously the momentum is shifted, but the way the game has been played is shifted.
An easy 2 opportunity on the inside. Fitzpatrick with the tip, no good. Battled up. Dorsey Fitzpatrick can't get it, and he's going to reach in and foul Weatherspoon after after the play, you know, Southwind would have been wise just to get back, and but after Weatherspoon rebound, they were frustrated at the missed opportunity. Chris Hale missed the opportunity. Now Weatherspoon in transition gets it to Kendarius Smith. Falcons trailing by 2, a position they haven't seen all game. Nice cut on the inside. Anthony Brown rattles one in. That was a beautiful cut by him and a good find. 55 all with 3:01 to play. What a game this has been as Southwind has battled back. Dorsey Fitzpatrick gives it up. He's going to let one go. Way too strong. He gets his own rebound though. Gives it up. Cheatham called for the charge. Credit Nicholas Weatherspoon for planting his feet and staying in there. I tell you, this feels a lot like a rivalry game for some reason. I know Southwind and Velma Jackson aren't exactly arch rivals by any means, but this is heated right now.
Well, both teams came to compete. You know, I think the tone of the game and the way the game was played for so long, Velma Jackson was just in control, and everybody was just kind of sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting. Even the Southwind fans, I'm sure, on some level, were kind of resigned to the fact that this might not be our day. And for it to change so quickly, everybody in there up on 10, I love it, man.
These teams are combined 9-0. Neither team has been beat. Smith in the lane, he's fouled. And he'll go to the line for 2. I believe it'll be a shooting foul. And here's something I notice at tournaments like this. And by the way, now that the Egg Bowl is just about over, we'll start seeing a lot of people piling in here. I think the Egg Bowl is finishing up right now. Mississippi State and Ole Miss football. That's a kind of a big deal in this state right now. Smith at the free throw line. But something I notice at these tournaments is all the fans from Corinth who are coming in here, they're naturally going to root for Velma Jackson a little bit because Velma Jackson's in Mississippi. And, you know, Southwind's from Memphis, and Memphis is a very proud city when it comes to basketball. They love their basketball, and they think they play it better than anyone. So, so you got some of that state pride going against each other here. 2 minutes to play. These teams are playing really hard. This has been a great game.
Well, and it's interesting. You talk about Memphis, and, you know, obviously, you know, what Calipari did and Josh Pastner in terms of getting that part of the state revitalized basketball-wise. Penny Hardaway now back. Went to Memphis, was a big-time player. Actually, Dorsey Fitzpatrick played for the club team that Penny Hardaway coaches. Had the opportunity to watch them play this summer, and he does a great job just influencing the young men there. Hamilton with Dedrick Lawson and Keelan Lawson that'll be at Memphis next year. Both of those guys in the Elite 100, BrandonClayScouting.com. So Memphis is really back, you know, in terms of what they've done with that city in the past 7 years or so basketball-wise. It's good to see it. That's always a great place and a pipeline for talent across the country, but especially right there in Memphis at the university right now.
And in the meantime, you've got Southwind just holding the basketball. Minute 15 to play. Falcons sitting in a zone. And I think this favors the Velma Jackson Falcons, actually, because they've got injured players. Moses Greenwood's not on the floor. Quindary Weatherspoon's been cramping up, and he's getting just a rest.
Well, it's interesting. It's almost one of those things where you start to look at overtime. Like, if a team was to go to overtime, which team would you choose? From a leg standpoint at this moment, if the game goes to overtime, you're probably looking at Southwind, you know, because of the injury issue. So, you know, to play it down to one possession, and it will be interesting to see how long Anthony Carlisle stays in that zone. You see his team starting to communicate. Kendarius Smith pointing, you know, is that something they're going to talk to? Dorsey Fitzpatrick is having a full conversation. This is awesome right now.
And Quindary, I think Quindary Weatherspoon right now, he's sitting back. He's just kind of frustrated. So here we go. 15 seconds to play. Holding the ball is Mark Freeman. He gets it to Cheatham. Cheatham, 10 seconds to play now. Time to make a move. A slip of the ball. Cheatham from deep. Back iron. Up in the ball. Who wants it?
Oh, great play.
What a play. That was a defensive play right there. That's why he's on the floor. Anthony Brown's not a scorer, but he's one heck of a defender. He knocked that ball away because Mark Freeman was going up for the game winner. 2.2 seconds. It's win basketball. They will inbound from the side over here in front of their own bench.
This is good stuff. Well, you saw just a second ago, not only Brown with that play, but now what do you have? CoachHemmy.com, what do you have in your playbook for a situation like this? It's not a traditional baseline out of bounds. It's not a traditional half court out of bounds. It literally is a timeline, sideline out of bounds play. So what do you have in your repertoire? You know where you want the ball to go. You want Cheatham or Dorsey getting the basketball in their hands to make a play. Do you have something right? If you're Coach Paul Edwards, almost that Derek Fisher type stuff that he ran with the Lakers where they'll decoy a guy or two to get it to Fisher, to get it to somebody else. So what happens if your primary can't get a catch here?
Who's going to play big shot Bob? Robert Ory on the floor for Southwind right now. That's the question. 2.2 seconds, plenty of time. Pump fake, take a dribble, do whatever you need to do. Got to get a shot off in 2 seconds, though. Here we go. The inbound. Comes in on the far side. It's Cheatham. Fade away. Left it short. And for the first time in the Lighthouse Thanksgiving Classic, we will play an overtime period. Dorsey Fitzpatrick very frustrated there. I think he wanted the basketball. He's not in the huddle over here on the sideline.
Well, he's got to make sure he stays. Somebody got to get him the memo, man. We still got 5 minutes of 4 minutes of basketball left. Like, it's okay. I think you learn lessons, as a prospect. This is not the time to do that. Dorsey Fitzpatrick was covered coming off the curl. It wasn't as if he was wide open. That wasn't what it was. Obviously, he wanted the basketball, but held through the ball into somewhere where he could get the basketball in calmly. He was able to do that.
And there's still plenty of time left. Southwind breaks the huddle, and they get out there. They're ready to play. Chris Hale will go to the bench. Southwind makes a substitution. And from our vantage point, you'll hear us get spacey with our words at times, and the reason is we have the coaches in our ear to the left here, and we hear player chatter, we hear coach chatter, we see everything that's going on to our left. So being fans of the game, we like listening to that kind of stuff. We can relay it.
Well, that's great. And I love the competitiveness from Dorsey Fitzpatrick there to want to be in the mix there at the end. But just making sure you're respectful of the young men who've helped you bring this game back to where there is an overtime period.
Falcons with the basketball. Velma Jackson, undefeated. Southwind, undefeated. It only makes sense that it takes an overtime period to decide this one. Brown gets it over to Smith. Smith scoop pass to Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon back to Smith.
Well, he just hadn't been himself, has he? He just has not been himself.
Not slashing like he was after he started cramping up. And if you've cramped up, you've been there. Here's another guy that's not himself. Moses Greenwood battling. It looked like a hip or upper leg injury. Yep. Floater in and out. No cleared by Dorsey Fitzpatrick. You get the feeling that he's saying, this is my ball, my game right now. He's going to want to take over as he crosses over to the timeline. Mark Freeman with the basket. And are we going to play hold the basketball again? I think we are. That's exactly what's going to happen. Mark Freeman with the basketball.
Oh, wow, what a great play. What a great play. He knew exactly what he wanted when he cut out there to that wing. That's a heck of a play there by Dorsey Fitzpatrick. Not only the wherewithal to cut, send it, but the quick cut to the basket to be able to catch it and punch.
And Weatherspoon can't even bend the leg right now. He is cramping up so bad. And I tell you what did it. Dorsey Fitzpatrick and Weatherspoon both went high to the rim there. Fitzpatrick wins that battle because he slams it through. But I'm telling you, if Weatherspoon was not cramping, he would have been a little higher, and it would have gotten real interesting at the rim there. But Weatherspoon, you're going to see it on the replay, just couldn't quite elevate. It was a nice cut, couldn't quite elevate enough to get up there with Dorsey Fitzpatrick who threw it in.
Well, and this is interesting. You take the game back here about 5 months, and you remember all of the talk about LeBron cramping and all. And you're watching here an elite level high school athlete battle through cramps, trying to play against another elite level high school athlete, and for all intents and purposes, he can't give it a go. I mean, he's out there in body, but he has not been able to be effective in the last 7 or 8 minutes of this game. There just hasn't been any production. I don't know that we've talked about him actually scoring a basket, grabbing a key rebound since that. I believe it was right at the 5-minute mark when he went down.
He actually hasn't scored in the fourth quarter. Now, I think he might have one bucket in the fourth quarter. I'm not positive. Very few.
Yep.
Very few. And he's still in the game, but I be moving much. Kendarius Smith into the front court. He's feeling just fine. Kendarius Smith can fly, and it really is going to be his right now. Moses Greenwood not himself. Here he is in the post, making a move with the left hand. No good. Tapped it up and in. We're all square again. 57 all.
Well, and that's the first bounce we've seen from Greenwood since really, the first half. And he's been out there, been up and down, but it hasn't been that same bounce off of the floor that we were seeing earlier in the game, and he brought that to the table right there.
Southwind content to run a little clock here, tie game. We only played a 4-minute overtime, I guess because we're in Thanksgiving Classic rules here. We usually play 5.
Can they get the ball back to Dorsey Fitzpatrick and let him make a play? I know that obviously Cheatham has been good, but there's something about money. You want that ball in the hands of your most consistent and prolific scorer. Doesn't have to score the basketball. He can make the game easier for others with his presence and the ball in his hands.
He touches it momentarily, gives it back up. They are going to every time he catches. Anthony Brown guarding Mark Freeman up top. Freeman with the right hand. Brown trying to get the 5-second call. Full timeout for Southwind. That gives us a chance to thank our sponsors real quick. We definitely want to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Powerade, we've raised our game. Also like to thank the Hampton Inn, welcoming all teams to the Thanksgiving Lighthouse Classic. Physicians Urgent Care right here in Corinth, Mississippi. Get in, get out, and get well. Also want to thank Crossover Basketball, providing full statistics, breakdown, and analysis to coaches and
this is a good one here. You see both coaches working the huddle, trying to get their guys dialed in here. Just remaining 57 all. It'll be interesting to see if Southwind decides to come out and hold the basketball again at the top of this 2-3 zone. Velma Jackson has stayed in the zone. You think about the amount of time, almost 4 minutes of actual game time was run off the clock by Southwind there to close out the fourth quarter. Velma Jackson and Coach Anthony Carlisle stood their ground. We're not coming out of that zone. We're going to find a way to beat us with it. And it looked like the momentum was going to shift there after the Dorsey Fitzpatrick dunk. And it hasn't done that, in terms of Southwind being able to take off and maybe win this one easily with a 4 to 6 point lead at this point. It just hasn't been that so far, so this should be a great possession.
It's a high school team I played against when I played, and this was their strategy. If you got in the zone, they were going to wait. They'd wait 8 minutes if they had to before they took a shot, but they would just play keep away the whole game. That's neither of these teams' strategy, but here lately it has been for Southwind. They just don't feel comfortable attacking the zone. They don't like their chances. They're going to wait and only attack when they have 12 seconds to play in overtime. We're all square at 57. Here we go. Dorsey Fitzpatrick in the lane. He's fouled. Moses Greenwood says he went straight up, but that was a good job by Dorsey Fitzpatrick to force the officials to blow the whistle, drawing contact.
I tell you what, we'll assume that he's going to hit at least the second of these two. I'm pressuring the basketball. No, we're not caught selling out. Good shot there. Now you get yourself a lead. We don't want to sell out and put bodies in front. We're not trying to deny. but we do want to play it so that it's difficult to get the basketball up the floor. It's going to take you some time. You've only got 6 seconds, so if we can force it to take 2.5 to 3 seconds for you to get it across that half court, we've done our job.
He cans them both. Big players make big free throws in big moments, and that's exactly what Dorsey Fitzpatrick just did. He now he's approaching 30 points. He's got 28 on the day.
When you saw Coach Edwards and his group were immediately going to press there after that second made free throw. They were getting into their pressure defense before the timeout was called by Coach Carlisle. One of the things, unlike the NBA, the timeout here does not advance the basketball to the half. Stay 94 feet away. Got to have some sort of set, and this is where, even though his leg has been giving him some issue, Witherspoon can really come into play here. Be interested to see if screen action to try to put the ball in his hand, or if they use him as a decoy to get the ball in Smith's hands for as quick as he's been in the open floor, let him get down the floor and then be able to make a play, maybe a 2-on-1 situation with him and Greenwood for a chance to tie this game.
And so, yeah, I'm with you. I don't see Witherspoon bringing the ball up the floor.
No.
But I do see him down here on the offensive end, waiting for the play to develop and maybe running him off one pick and letting him get a shot. It'll be Anthony Brown to inbound. You got Weatherspoon and Smith. Remember, Smith can fly. He's looking for Weatherspoon on the cut. It's Nicholas Weatherspoon. Here's Smith, and they have called a timeout when Kendarius Smith had a wide open look. He spun off the defender and looked like he was going to pull up for a chance to win the game, but
the tough part with that now is you've left another sideline out of bounds about 70 feet, if I've got it marked correctly here, right in front of us on the timeline here at Southwind's bench. You've got to go about 70. It looked like they actually were giving him credit. Listen, it'll be interesting to see what they finally do with it on the placement.
I think wherever Kendarius Smith caught
they gave him
that's
the
where they're gonna, yeah, it's right up. It's, what is it? About 5 feet short of half court right
Boy,
now.
you're going to be looking at, still about 50 feet, 45, 50 feet to try to make a play here. You're going to have time literally for a bounce.
And I don't think there is any clock adjustment. It's going to be 1.2 on the clock. This is a catch and shoot opportunity here. Not time for a bounce. Anthony Brown throws the inbound. Weatherspoon can't handle it. Throws it up from the corner. Way too strong. And I tell you, this Southwind team, how they pulled off this victory, I'm still not sure. Because they were really in trouble, and they've scrapped their way back into
Dorsey
it.
Fitzpatrick was great, and Cheatham got involved and did what we talked about him doing, which was getting in the lane, making the game easy. There for a minute, Dorsey Fitzpatrick was able to kind of fall back and for him to turn up. He did just that. Great game, both teams, man. This is a classic here in Lighthouse Classic history.
And then the two. I guess they're rivals now, and they'll be rivals in the future. One going to Ole Miss and one going to Mississippi State. They give each other a hug and congratulate each other on the good game. They've been jawing back and forth throughout the whole game, and of course, your player of the game is going to be Dante Dorsey Fitzpatrick. He finishes with 28 points.
Ironically, the MVP being handed to him by a gentleman wearing a Mississippi State sweatshirt has not lost on me.
He says, "Wait a second. I'm not sure if you should give this to me or not right now." But all right, so that'll do it for game number 5. We've got games 6, 7, and 8 coming your way. Right after this, Logan Stout alongside the math wrong. That was game number 6. We got games 7 and 8 coming your way next. It'll be Corinth and Lasan. Lasan out of Tennessee, and Corinth going to be playing on their home floor right here at Corinth High School. Logan Stout, Brandon Clay, and the folks at SUV TV for Lighthouse Thanksgiving Classic next.